Welcome to Don Bosco in a Year podcast.
Day 12. All this time, I had to use my own initiative to learn how to deal with my companions. I put them in three groups: the good, the indifferent, and the bad. As soon as I spotted the bad ones, I avoided them absolutely and always. The indifferent I associated with only when necessary, but I was always courteous with them. I made friends with the good ones and then only when I was sure of them. As I knew few people in the town, I made it a rule to keep to myself. I sometimes had to discourage people I did not know too well. Some wanted to get me to a show, others into some gambling, and still others to go swimming. And there were suggestions that I should steal fruit from the town gardens or country orchards. One companion was so bold as to suggest that I should steal a valuable object from my landlady so that we could buy some sweets. Gradually, I got to know the undesirables and firmly avoided their company. Usually, I had a counter to these suggestions. I used to tell them that my mother had asked my landlady to look after me, and out of love for my mother, I did not want to go anywhere nor do anything without good Lucy's consent. This firm obedience of the good woman led me to a very happy and practical conclusion. With much pleasure, Lucy asked me to take charge of her only son, a lively youth more interested in games than in schoolwork. She depended on me to check his homework, even though he was in the class above me. I took him in hand as if he were my brother. I used little prizes as bribes to get to him. I played indoor games with him and helped him to be faithful to his religious duties. Little by little, he became more tractable, obedient, and studious. After 6 months, he had become so good and diligent that his teacher was satisfied and he won the honors in class. His mother was so delighted that she refused to accept my monthly rent. Since the companions who tried to coax me into their escapades were the most careless about everything, they began to come to me for help because I did them the kindness of lending them my homework or dictating it to them. The teachers frowned on this. They said that it was a false kindness that only encouraged laziness, and they strictly forbade me to do it. I then resorted to less obvious ways of helping them, such as explaining problems to them and lending a helping hand to those who needed it. Thus, I made everyone happy and won the goodwill and affection of my companions. At first, they came to play, then to listen to stories or to do their homework, and finally, for no reason at all, just as the boys at Murialdo and Castel Nuovo used to do. That these gatherings might have a name, we called ourselves the Society for a Good Time. There was reason for the name because everyone was obliged to look for such books, discuss such subjects, or play such games as would contribute to the happiness of the members. Whatever would induce sadness was forbidden, especially things contrary to God's law. Those who swore, used God's name in vain, or indulged in bad talk were turned away from the club at once. So it was that I found myself the leader of a crowd of companions. Two basic rules were adopted. First, each member of the society for a good time should avoid language and actions unbecoming of a good Christian. Second, exactness in the performance of scholastic and religious duties. All this helped my reputation, and in 1832, my companions respected me like the captain of a small army. I was much in demand for entertainments, for helping pupils privately, or for giving lessons or reviews at home. Thus, divine providence enabled me to supply my own clothes, such necessities, and other things without having to disturb my family in any way.
Thank you for joining us today on this journey to know Don Bosco. May these reflections deepen our faith, guide us closer to God each day, and hope to see you all tomorrow. Till then, keep seeking, keep praying, keep growing.